Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Senate bill passes without the governor's signature. And there's now less than 1 month to apply for FEMA disaster relief following the February storm.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning and a happy Thursday to you, Mountain family. My name's Amelia Lee here with you on this March 27th, and the time is now 5 o'clock this morning, which means it's time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at that forecast. Megan, I saw those sunny skies just a little bit. I have to be honest, I didn't really go outside after work yesterday. I stayed in, but I could see it through my window.
Yeah, I was going to go outside, and then I had a date with my couch, and it was absolutely wonderful. Took a big nap yesterday, but the sun was perfect weather for that, right? Now today we won't be seeing as much of that sun. However, temperatures will be warmer, so there's some good news there. Here's a look at what you can expect as you're heading out the door, mainly sitting in the 30s. So a little bit of a chilly start to your morning. Could see some frost as we go through the next couple of hours, but the good news is we're seeing 60s once again as you're heading into the afternoon. 66 degrees for Pikeville, Prestonsburg, hitting at 68 degrees for Jackson, Manchester, Williamsburg, Jacksboro. Overall, not going to be too bad of a day in terms of those temperatures. And we're looking nice and clear on satellite and radar, seeing a little bit of a sprinkle here and there, and also some clouds. But overall, it's going to be not too bad a day, staying mostly dry with a sprinkle in the forecast as you're heading into the afternoon. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. Well, Governor Andy Beshear signed and vetoed multiple bills that were sent to his desk this week, and some were also returned unsigned. Here's the latest on Senate Bill 63 and what the lack of a signature means for that bill. Governor Andy Beshear did not sign Senate Bill 63, sending it back to the legislature, but the bill still passes without his explicit approval. Senator Brandon Storm, the bill's sponsor, says it's an opt-in law.
This isn't being forced on anyone throughout the Commonwealth. If local governments, local municipalities, local cities don't want to do this, then they don't necessarily have to agree to allow this to take place.
Storm says this bill does not apply to farm or agricultural vehicles, focusing on people who are riding on the trail systems.
Go from one to the next, and you never really have to load up one of these street legal special purpose vehicles. You can drive from one trail system, go get gas, go get food, stay in a hotel, go to the next one the next day, and make it a family fun adventure.
Eric Hubbard with Backroads of Appalachia says the bill's passing will bring more people to Eastern Kentucky and in turn grow the local economy.
What I saw so far was a business owner ecstatic because this is going to be in direct line for them to start getting more traffic and legally do it and have people come to their restaurant versus doing it illegal.
He says more than 30 states have a similar law in place.
This makes us more of a competitive platform to compete against our neighboring states. But most importantly, we got the best terrain already here.
Saying he is excited to see his friends get their tags. The bill will go into effect in July. Hubbard says that's when people can get their vehicle inspected and with proof of insurance can get the proper tags. Another bill, this time one that did not make it past the governor's desk. Governor Andy Beshear vetoed House Bill 684, which would have in part expanded who could vote in person before official early voting began and would have allowed local boards of election to give schools advance notice if their facilities were needed as voting centers. Secretary of State Michael Adams says the governor's veto has undermined the state's bipartisan effort.
This is not controversial stuff. It's all just common sense stuff. That's why the Democrats voted for this too.
In response to the governor's decision, Secretary Adams took to the social media platform X to express his disapproval. The post described the governor's veto as, quote, murdered bipartisan election reform. In a statement to WYMT sister station, Governor Beshear says calling a constitutional veto by a governor murder is immature and insensitive to those who have lost family and friends to murder. As President Donald Trump continues to work towards dismantling the Department of Education, some parents are worried about the future of their civil rights cases. 7 of the 12 regional Office of Civil Rights locations closed last week, including the one that serves Kentucky. Those offices investigating allegations of discriminations within schools. Some parents with active cases say they're worried about falling through the cracks.
We're aware that the school was contacted, that the allegations were made, that the cases were open. Information was requested from them, documentation of what they had done, and then to now be met with the doors were closed. I feel a little bit nervous again.
Trump's order to dismantle the Department of Education is being challenged in court. Agency officials have said the work of the Office of Civil Rights will continue. Health departments across Kentucky could be losing federal funding if an $11 billion program is pulled back. The program put money towards COVID prevention and mitigating other diseases. Federal officials say it was a pandemic-era program that's now a waste of money. The Woodford County Health Department doesn't yet know if its COVID funding will go away, but it's worried about what would happen if there's an outbreak of another disease.
Knowing that our state and federal governments will support us here at the local level is crucial to being able to protect the health of the community.
The State Cabinet for Health and Family Services told us in a statement they've been notified of the funding terminations and are waiting for more updates. The deadline to apply for FEMA assistance is approaching, with less than 1 month to receive disaster relief. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino has some important information for flood victims.
Time is almost up to apply for FEMA assistance for those affected by the February flooding. The deadline is now less than a month away, April 25th at 11:59 Eastern Time.
That doesn't mean that the money stops flowing April 25th. That just means your application needs to be in the system so that we can begin that processing and help you jumpstart your recovery.
But they say the sooner that you can get in to apply, the better.
As the deadline approaches, some of these centers are going to be changing hours or maybe relocating. But right now we're, along with our federal partner FEMA, we're really up and running on all cylinders, and we're really here to help folks.
Officials with federal assistance encourage anyone affected to apply for help, whether it was your home, business, automobile, or even a student who lost school supplies. With the FEMA deadline approaching, officials say that it's important that you answer your phone even if it's an unknown caller. FEMA says if they cannot get in contact with you after a number of attempts, your application will close.
Again, we're here to help Eastern Kentuckians. We've been here a few times in the last few years. We want to help folks just get back up on their feet.
And the first way to get help is to apply. In Knott County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials with FEMA say through the efforts of not only them, but state and local partners, they've already put more than $24 million into the hands of flood victims. The ARH Disaster Relief Center in Hazard is moving to a new location. The one located in the former JCPenney building since the 2022 flood will close today. Supplies and equipment will be moved to the new facility at 414 Roy Campbell Drive. It will reopen there on Wednesday, April 3rd. Hours of operation will be from 10 until 4, Monday through Friday. Well, thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, Congress calling for answers in the Trump administration group chat scandal.
And a sprinkle of rain is in the forecast with more rain on later this week.